Hello everyone, welcome back. The big question of the day is, whose side is the Supreme Court on? Okay, for those of you that have not heard yet, the Supreme Court reversed the stay on the frames and receivers rule, which means that the ATF can now enforce their frames and receiver rules. So the question again is, whose side is the Supreme Court on? A lot of us were erroneously thinking that maybe they were on the side of the people. That's not the case. Okay, the Supreme Court is on their own side. Okay, so the three branches of government: executive branch, legislative branch, and judiciary branch. Okay, those three branches, since the inception of this country, are always competing for power. Okay, so what the now the ATF, of course, is part of the executive branch. Okay, so what the ATF was doing through this ruling was basically taking more power for the executive branch, right? Because basically Biden told them what to do, and he did it. So effectively, the ATF is the arm of the president. Okay, so again, going back to what is the Supreme Court trying to do? At best, what they are trying to do is prevent the executive branch from getting more power. Okay, because anytime one branch of government takes more power, they're effectively weakening the other branches of government. So that is the primary concern, I believe, of the Supreme Court, and I believe this is the kind of like to some extent what it is supposed to be concerned with. Okay, not allowing one branch of government to take more power over another branch of government. So I think that kind of explains the reason why they would, and it was tight. It was like 5-4, but it's like, okay, well, we know that the Democrat-appointed judges, they kind of always side with the Democrats, okay, because basically they kind of put party first. So what we're really trying to analyze here is, why would some of the justices appointed by Republicans, why would they side with the government? Okay, and again, this isn't like a final rule. This is basically just saying that the government can enforce this until it works its way through the court system. So again, the Supreme Court is really not concerned with individual rights. They're concerned with preserving the balance between the different branches of government. So that's my explanation as to why they would turn against us. It's because they were never on our side. It's because they're on their own side at best, right? They're on the side of the judiciary branch and trying to maintain as much power for the judiciary branch. At best, they kind of see the people as a means towards that end. But I don't think that the Supreme Court or any of the other branches of government are really and truly in favor of individual rights or the people at all. The government sees people as basically the slaves, basically, right? Serfs. The government sees the people as being there to serve government through taxation and labor. That's how government sees it. That's how all branches of government see themselves. Okay, so we kind of got a little taste of reality today. Now, this is not to say that we should not try and play the different branches of government against each other, right? And try to get the Supreme Court to weaken the other branches of government as much as we can. Because sometimes what happens is, with the Supreme Court, they're like, well, we don't want the executive branch or the legislative branch to have too much power, so let's strip some power away from them and kind of give it back to the people, just so that those other branches don't gain more power. Okay, Now that the only other thing I wanted to say here is a lot of people are like, well, why is the Supreme Court taking so long to make decisions, and in general, judges in general take so long to take decisions? Well, again, the courts are on team court, right? Team Judiciary Branch. So to the courts, the longer these things stay in the courts, right? All these different cases, the longer they're running through the court system, the more empowered they feel, right? Because they see kind of like the judges, the lower court judges, and the lawyers on both sides, right? They don't care. They see all the lawyers as being on their team, right? So they want to see the lawyers busy. They want to see the lawyers making money. They want to see things running through the courts because, again, that empowers the judiciary branch. Okay, so I think that this is a good way of looking at it to understand why the court is acting the way it's acting. All right, why is it against the people? It's because it was never, it was never working for the people. The courts work for the judiciary branch. That's who the courts work for. So it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. Okay, so I just wanted to share those thoughts with you guys. Drop some comments below. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you all soon. Hey everyone, I want to add one more thing. What can we do to resist? Well, we're not going to be able to resist the government directly. They pretty much control everything, including our communications. Okay, as in like right now, like they're probably watching what I'm telling you guys. So what can you do to resist? First thing to do is not support the government, right? Don't support the people that are infringing upon you and trying to oppress you. And the good starting point would be to never enlist, okay? And I mean, if you did make that mistake in the past, well, at least teach your kids not to enlist. Teach them that the government is the true enemy of the people, and that's all governments around the world. They're all enemies of their own people. So never enlist for government. Teach your kids not to enlist for government. As much as possible, don't fund them, okay? So as we go through life, we have different career choices that we can make. So choose the career path that allows you not to fund government. Okay, I can't go into too much details on that, publicly, but as you have different choices in life of what kind of work you're going to do and how you're going to get paid, choose the path that results in the government getting the least amount of funding. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to say is also, wherever possible, deplete and use up government resources. Okay, so in the past I would tell people like, don't participate in this government program or that government program, but now I take a different view upon that. All right, basically I now see it as using up government resources, even if you're just wasting them and denying it to the enemy, basically, because if you're on the conservative side and you're like, yeah, well, I don't want these government freebies because they're against what I believe in, right? Well, what happens is if you're not taking those government freebies, that means that they're going to use them they're going to give more stuff basically to their constituents, to the people that support them. So by you taking up and using up government freebies, you're essentially denying it to the enemy. Okay, so that's how I've come to look at all the government freebie stuff, all the different stuff that's out there, right? Even though you may feel that that morally it's wrong, or it's that government shouldn't be playing that role. The fact is that they are, and if you're not taking it for yourself, they're basically, that's more resources for them, and more resources for them to give to the people that support them and continue to empower them. Okay, so those are the three ways that you can fight back. So talk to you all soon.